Happy Gilmore sucks?
Happy Gilmore didn't have things flowing on the first though.
Grandson, you're in my world now.
Everything kicks off with Happy Gilmore talking about how, after winning his first tour championship back in 1996, he went on to have a successful career in the golf world, going on to snag 5 more golden jackets. At the same time, he started a family with his wife, Virginia Bennett, and together they had 5 kids. His life seemed perfect. He even got invited to appear on Saturday Night Live. One time, he told Virginia he was thinking about retiring from golf so he could spend more time with their kids. She, though, smiled and said golf would never really go away, that it'd always be around just like them. But everything took a tragic turn on Mother's Day in 2014. One of his swings accidentally hit Virginia in the head, leading to her death. Happy was crushed. The guilt ate him alive. Unable to cope with the pain, he threw away his golf clubs and swore he'd never touch one again. With Virginia gone, the family's balance just crumbled. She was the one handling the money, and without her guiding things, a bunch of responsibilities got neglected. Happy ended up losing everything, even the house that used to belong to his grandma, the one he inherited with so much love. The kids had to adjust to a whole new reality, and him, along with his daughter, found a small, cheap apartment. Even though the neighborhood wasn't ideal, at least it was close to his new job. These days, Happy's working at a supermarket. One day, while he's going through a shift like any other, he meets Frank Manatee, the CEO of Maxi Energy Drink and the guy behind a new up-and-coming golf league called Maxi Golf. Frank starts going off, real hyped up about his energy drink and this game-changing idea for his new league that's just about to launch. Happy, not really caring, tells him he's retired from golf. Frank keeps pushing, saying the scale of the project might be enough to make him think twice, but Happy wishes him luck and stands firm on his decision. That's when Frank switches his tone. He says that right there is the issue. Nobody cares about regular golf anymore, that it's stuck in the past, a sport for boring people. Then he tells him he was actually the reason behind creating the league in the first place and says it'd be a real shame to see him throw away his life and talent, sinking lower and lower. Frank also says he gets the pain golf brings him, especially after what went down with his wife. But Happy, visibly pissed, cuts him off and tells him to stop talking to him with that poop breath, even threatening him. Frank, acting cocky, says he doesn't think Happy's got the guts to lay a hand on him, because if he does, he's going straight to jail. Happy looks at him, quiet, and says only if they find out. Right after, he asks for the security cameras to be shut off for 90 seconds and throws Frank into a fish tank where some crabs start biting him like crazy. When he gets back home, Happy finds his daughter Vienna doing ballet under her teacher's guidance. Later on, the girl shows him a clip from a trivia show where, to his surprise, he gets mentioned, but none of the contestants manage to remember his name. A little while later, the ballet teacher comes up to him with a surprising suggestion. She tells him Vienna's got some real standout talent, more than she herself can help with, and says the kid deserves a more advanced level of training. She tells him she sent videos of Vienna to the Paris Ballet School, where only 4 spots open up each year, and that they're holding one for her. But there's a catch. The yearly tuition is no less than $75,000, which leaves Happy totally stunned. During dinner, Happy tries chatting with his kids, asking how things are going at their jobs. One of them says he's enjoyed working on a construction site, but really he just messes around cracking jokes. Another claims he's like a god at the car wash, though that doesn't seem true either, since just like the first, he's mostly fooling around. A third proudly says he got named Employee of the Month at the pharmacy, but it's clear he's into pranks more than serious work. Finally, the last one says he watches the skies at the airport, but what he mostly does is joke around. Frustrated, Happy reminds them they wouldn't even have to be working if he hadn't blown all the money. He gives them grief for not even going to college, staying behind just to look after him. Later, the boys take off. They're total jokers, just like their old man. They hop in the van and, as one last rebellious move, press their butts against the windows. Uncle John Daly sees the whole thing and just shrugs, saying, like father, like sons. When everyone's getting ready to sleep, Vienna comes over to her dad. She admits she knows about the Paris Ballet School offer and tells him not to stress, cause she gets it, it's way too expensive. Happy tries to ease her mind. He tells her that back when he was a teenager, he dreamed of playing hockey for the Bruins, and that ballet in a way is to her what the Bruins were to him. Only big difference, she actually knows how to dance. He never even knew how to skate. Then he asks if she knew her mom was an amazing dancer. Vienna nods with a smile and says goodnight. That night, Happy falls into a deep sleep. In the dream, he finds himself in his happy place. Virginia shows up wearing lingerie, holding 2 frosty mugs of beer. She, looking kinda skeptical, says she can't believe this is what he calls paradise. He tells her he's sorry for what happened in 2014, but Virginia gently tells him he's already said sorry 1,000 times, that she understands he's worried about the kids' future, but the best way to lead them is by example. They need to see the Happy she fell in love with. He says that guy's long gone. She tells him he's always been the best, but now he's just missing a goal. She reminds him he was never meant to play hockey. At that moment, Happy wakes up. He gets up quietly, heads up to the attic, and looks over his old trophies. After a few seconds, he opens up an old golf bag and pulls out his clubs. He walks out to the backyard, gets into stance and gets ready to hit a ball. Right then, John Daly shows up and watches him curiously. He asks if he's seriously gonna hit that ball and takes the chance to bring up how expensive Vienna's school would be, figuring for 4 years, we're talking something like $333,000. Happy, confused, tells him he isn't good at math, that it's actually just $300,000. John laughs and says there's only one way to make fast money. He's got to grab that club and crush it. Happy looks at him, unsure. I don't even know where to start, he admits. John, speaking firm, tells him from the bottom. The next day, carefully keeping his identity hidden, Happy shows up at a local golf course where he's got to join a group of young players. As soon as they see him walk in, the kids start whispering among themselves, sure he's gonna suck. And yeah, they aren't wrong. Happy's performance is just plain terrible. He can't even hit the ball, and at one point he wipes out and falls flat on the ground. While the young players line up clean shots, he keeps messing up over and over, clumsy and more frustrated by the minute. At some point, one of the guys tells him he should stop trying to act like Happy Gilmore. In response, Happy takes off the dark shades he's been wearing, revealing who he really is. The kids freeze, totally stunned to see who's in front of them. One of them, not holding back, says straight up, Happy Gilmore sucks. Even with the trash talk, Happy pushes on. He keeps blowing it again and again till the next round, where he pauses, looks up at the sky, and remembers his old coach, Chubbs. He focuses, thinking about one of Chubbs' go-to lines. It's all in the hips, just ease the tension. Motivated by the memory, he gets ready, grabs the club with purpose, and this time smashes the ball with serious power. The shot rockets off and ends up busting the flag on the hole. The kids are stunned. No one says a word. One of them, hyped up, tells him that shot was insane and begs him to teach him how to do it. A little later, while Happy's driving the golf cart, the mix of booze he's been sneaking all day and straight up exhaustion starts to catch up with him. He knocks out at the wheel, losing control of the cart. He and the kid riding with him crash straight into another cart carrying the rest of the players. That same night, the story spreads all over the media. Reports say Happy Gilmore is back in the spotlight, just not for anything good. He's accused of driving a golf cart drunk and causing a crash on the course. He gets arrested for vandalism and driving under the influence. After spending a week in jail, the DA decides to drop the charges, but with conditions. Happy's got to stay away from throwing punches and has to attend a rehab program for alcoholics. On top of that, he gets fired from his supermarket job. Meanwhile, Shooter McGavin, Happy's old rival from that first tournament in 1996, never got over losing. Refusing to face the truth, McGavin ended up stealing the golden jacket, creating a whole mess. In the trial that followed, he was ruled not guilty cause of insanity and sent to a psych hospital where he's still locked up to this day. Just recently, the board of directors at the facility decides to give him another shot. To do that, they start asking him a series of questions to see if he's ready to return to society. First thing they want to know is, what would he do if he was granted his freedom? McGavin says he'd like to give back to the community, especially to kids since he sees them as the future, and also to animals who, according to him, just need some hugging. Next, they ask what his attitude would be toward Happy Gilmore. He swears he'd keep his distance. Then they ask what he'd do if he saw him playing golf. McGavin, staying calm, says he just nodded him. But when they ask what he'd do if he saw Happy wearing a golden jacket, his whole vibe shifts. Looking visibly shaken, he snaps that he'd beat the crap out of him. After that outburst, the board decides he still isn't ready to be part of society, so they keep him locked up under close watch. Meanwhile, Happy goes to his first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. That's where he meets Charlotte. And not long after, Hal shows up, the guy who used to take care of his grandma at the retirement home. Turns out Hal's now running the group. He asks Happy how his grandpa's doing, but Happy tells him he passed away 15 years ago. So Hal figures that's why he started drinking, but Happy sets him straight, saying it all started after his wife Virginia died. Then Hal tells everyone that the first step for a drunk to get better is to wash his car. Happy, kinda lost, asks what that's got to do with quitting booze. Hal tells him not to think, just listen, and shut that ugly mouth of his. It's an intense rehab program, and the head judge, his Uncle Dave, told Hal he can run things however he wants. Frank Manatee's showing off his new line of golf gear on different programs, calling it Maxi. He even hits up that famous Hot Wings show on YouTube, where they suggest inviting Happy Gilmore. But all Frank says is, who's that guy? He's still holding a grudge. Happy, on the other hand, is sitting at the computer while Vienna's chucking all his hidden booze around the house. Bottles stashed in the remote, the clock everywhere. John tells Happy he isn't gonna make 300 grand working some job. Vienna chimes in, saying he just needs a little training to become the legendary Happy Gilmore again. Happy starts practicing golf anywhere he can think of. He's so bad at it that some homeless guy ends up teaching him how to swing. Happy's always been solid with long shots, but short ones, not so much. Still, with time and effort, he starts improving. Even during his Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, he's reading golf books, which gets him in trouble with Hal, who punishes him by making him paint his house. Later, he shows up at his daughter's ballet performance, where she does an amazing job. That night, his kids surprise him with a gift, a little Hal doll, a punching version to celebrate his first 30 days sober. Once Happy feels ready for the tour championship, he says goodbye to his kids, promising he'll be back with a big old check. He arrives at the league's headquarters, checks out the statues of the champs, and notices his has teeth like a beaver. Just then, he runs into his old buddy Dougie, the Federation's president, who tells him it's getting tougher every year to compete. The reason's the Maxi League. It speeds up the game and's got all the big sponsors now. Dougie's got a bad feeling about things. Happy reminds him they've got the best golfers in the world, which is what the fans came to see. Dougie says Frank Manatee's out there claiming his crew is better, so Happy suggests a challenge, something that'll drive the crowd nuts. Later, while eating dinner with his old golf buddies, they tell him they aren't competing because they feel rusty. Happy admits he's got no choice. He's got to pay for his daughter's ballet school. One friend offers to chip in, but once he hears it's 300 grand, he just wishes him luck. That's when the busboy walks up. Turns out his name's Oscar, and he's actually Bad Bunny. Then one of the guys asks about Shooter, and Happy says he figures the guy's still in that special facility. Meanwhile, we see Shooter reading a Stephen King book with a wicked grin. His reading gets interrupted by a guard bringing big news. A court order's been issued for his immediate release. Once he's out, he meets the guy behind it all, Frank Manatee. Back at the restaurant, Oscar gets canned for being clumsy. Happy tries to stand up for him, but the waiter warns him. He doesn't know the whole story with that guy. Then Dougie gives a speech saying that every time their sports faced a big challenge, it's come out stronger. This new threat's the Maxi Golf League, which claims it's gonna make golf easier to watch. Dougie just got off the phone with the league's president Frank Manatee, who dared him to a face-off. Frank accepted the challenge and then let one rip right into the phone. The showdown will be 5 of their best players up against the top 5 from Frank's league. If they can prove to the world they're better, they might just shut down Frank's league right before it even kicks off. Next morning, while they're getting ready for the big event, the whole golf world's buzzing about Happy Gilmore's comeback. Someone lets Happy know his locker's been prepped. It's still the same one, and someone's even left a pack of diapers in there. Once again, he shows up without a caddy, and then he spots the very first caddy he ever had, the one who bailed because he didn't have the patience. Happy asks him to caddy for him just for today, but the guy turns him down. He isn't a caddy anymore. He's a full-blown pro now, known as Will Salatoris. So Happy ends up hiring Oscar, the waiter who got canned the night before. The first round of the tournament kicks off with Happy, Will, and Justin Thomas. Happy tells Oscar he's feeling kinda intimidated because those players are real sharp now, and he's gonna check out mentally into his happy place. Since the one in Virginia with the 2 beers doesn't work anymore, he quit drinking, he's gotta come up with a new one. When it's his turn, he pictures himself sitting on the toilet scrolling through TikTok while a nurse tells him his cholesterol's low and now he wears size M. Inspired, Happy takes his first shot, landing the ball real close to the flag. The crowd and his family react all shocked. As the tournament moves on, he keeps playing great. Even when fans offer him beers, he stays true to his no drinking vow. His kids FaceTime him to say congrats, and while they're still on the call, he lands another great shot. Then Oscar introduces his own caddy to Happy. Happy tells him flat out he can't have one. Caddies can't have caddies. Happy's sitting in 3rd place and everything's running smooth. Before a tough shot, he asks his caddy to head over to his own mental happy place so he can send out some good vibes. So Oscar pictures himself covering the waiter who fired him in honey, tying the guy up, hoping a bear will show up and take care of business. Back from his happy place, Happy takes the shot. At first, it looks off, but with a stroke of luck, the ball bounces right into the hole. Now he's just 18 holes away from earning his 7th golden jacket. Later, Happy heads back to his Alcoholics Anonymous group, where they all congratulate him for what he's done. Hal says he hopes Happy plays just as well the next day, since it's Mother's Day, but that comment doesn't sit right with Happy. He doesn't have good memories about that day. Next day, back at the tournament, Happy meets his next opponent, Billy Jenkins. When it's his turn, Happy imagines his wife sitting in the crowd, which throws him off and messes up his shot. Elsewhere, Shooter's lounging in a fancy suite paid for by Frank. Then Frank shows up and insists on taking a walk to explain what he wants from him. Haunted by memories of Virginia, Happy imagines everyone accusing him of needing his mom, blaming him for being the one who took out his kid's mother. Because of that, the ball hits a tree and lands right in the lake. Happy says he's heading to the bathroom where he downs some booze he had hidden. He gets back out there, but now that he's buzzed, his shots go all over the place, anywhere but the hole. Then it's Billy Jenkins' turn and he's killing it. His shots are clean, and he jumps up the leaderboard real quick. Meanwhile, Frank offers Shooter a spot in his league and explains that every player in the tour, including Jenkins, had their iliolumbar ligaments snipped, boosting their drive distance. He also wants him to join Maxi Golf as team captain. Disgusted by all this and by the extreme version of Golf Manatee's pushing, which is nothing like the real thing, Shooter straight up refuses. Frank threatens him, reminding him how tough it was to get him out of that psych hospital, but how easy it'd be to get him locked up again. In response, Shooter tosses hot coffee in his face and takes off. Happy, cause he's drunk, ends up in 6th place, missing the top 5 who'll go up against the Maxi League reps. The winner, Billy Jenkins, says he's actually part of that league and joined the Tour Championship just to mock it, trying to prove the old school golfers are done. Since Happy broke a legal agreement, one of his fans shows up butt naked to cause a distraction and stop them from arresting him. When he finds out Virginia passed, Shooter heads to her grave and bumps into Happy there. They argue and get into a quick scuffle, but they end up calling a truce. After that, Happy takes Shooter back to his place so he can finally change out of those pajamas he's still wearing. One of Happy's kids says they got a warrant out for his arrest. Happy says he should turn himself in and deal with it, but Vienna lets him know they hired a lawyer. That's when the lawyer shows up. Turns out he used to be the tax guy for the neighborhood. The lawyers got good news. First, all charges got dropped because no one ever gave Happy a breath test. Second, the 6th place prize is $496,000. The fam gets excited, saying that cash will cover Vienna's ballet school, but then the lawyer hits them with the bad. The tournament slapped them with a $500,000 fine for misconduct. Still, he ends with something hopeful. Since Billy backed out, Happy can take his spot and be part of the crew going up against Frank's team. But after what went down in the tourney, Happy don't feel up to it. Then his daughter Vienna tells him he's got to find peace somehow and hands him a note with the name of someone she says can help. Happy goes to see Slim Peterson, Chubbs' son, his old coach. He tells Slim that seeing him brings back what he did, the same thing he did to his own kids, taking their dad away. Slim tells him he's got to forgive himself for that. Happy says he doesn't wanna. Slim says he gets it. He didn't want to forgive Happy either, because hating him was easier than facing the fact he'd never see his dad again. It was like he was using the hate to keep his father alive, but once he forgave him, he felt like himself again, and he's sure that's what his dad would have wanted. He tells Happy that he loved his wife and his father, and they both loved him, plain and simple. Slim lets him know Vienna asked him to turn Happy into a winner, and that's what he's gonna do. With help from Slim and Shooter, Happy, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, and Scotty Scheffler get ready to take on Maxi Golf. The first drill's hitting a moving target, which turns out to be Oscar's cousin. Everyone nails it, even Oscar. The second drill's catching the ball, and surprisingly, the only one who nails it is Oscar, leaving everybody stunned. Frank runs into Happy and tells him his fight against old school golf ways was something to respect, and makes one last push for him to join his league. But Happy fires back, saying he looks like Freddy Krueger working at Starbucks, his breath smells like crap, and says his wife played the old-fashioned way, and that's what he's gonna stand for. Next day, Happy says bye to his kids and heads out to the tournament, but the car won't start, so him and the kids start banging on it. Meanwhile, Frank's Maxi tour kicks off. While the Maxi golfers get cheered on, Happy's crew gets booed and called outdated. Then they're told the course will have 7 holes. The Maxi players start off strong, thanks to the body tweaks Frank's made on all of them. During one of his turns, Happy gets thrown off by a guy flashing his behind, making him miss the shot. Everyone turns on the heckler, who turns out to be none other than Eminem. Happy's kids chuck him into the pond, where gators take a bite out of him. During the showdown, Scheffler gets disqualified in the first match for smacking his opponent. Shooter, who fills in for Koepka after he gets hurt, sinks the ball with his signature shot. Even though the course is rigged to favor Maxi Golf, whose players crush it with long drives, the old school team manages to tie it up 2-2. It all comes down to the final hole. Winner takes it all. The future of classic golf's hanging by a thread, and it's gonna be settled between Billy and Happy on the course's longest hole. After his rival shot, Happy brags that he doesn't need surgery, just skill. He pictures the ball as Hal's face insulting him, saying he won't stop his daughter from going to ballet school. And with that fire, he lands a long shot that beats Billy's. Then Billy and Happy face off on this platform that tilts depending on how much each guy weighs. Happy's got a shot that could lock in the win, but Frank screws with the green, making it near impossible. So he throws out a deal. If Happy misses the putt, he's gotta join Maxi Golf. But if he sinks it, Frank's gotta quit his own league, buy Happy a house, give him his Rolls Royce, pay for Vienna's ballet school, and open an Italian joint for Oscar. Working together, Oscar and Happy start tossing golf clubs back and forth till Happy picks the one that feels right. Then he pictures Virginia, standing there with the kids, wishing him luck. Fueled by that vision, he takes the shot on the wobbly, shifting platform. The ball stops right at the edge of the hole, but luckily Oscar faints from all the swaying, causing a tiny tilt that makes the ball drop in. The crowd goes nuts, even the ones watching on TV. Happy celebrates with his kids and dedicates the win to Virginia's memory. Later on, while marking his 3 months sober at Alcoholics Anonymous, Hal gets exposed as a scammer and hauled off in cuffs. Happy walks his kids to the airport since Vienna's heading to a top ballet school in Paris, and the others want to be mimes. He promises to meet up with them after he plays in the British Open. After the plane takes off, he finds out the Rolls Royce's battery is dead, so he grabs his golf clubs and starts walking down the road. Later on, the news reports that Maxi energy drink got pulled off shelves after it was confirmed to cause major mouth issues like gingivitis and a new thing called rotten tongue, leaving Frank totally wiped out.